Okay. Don't ever get H7N9. It's bad. H1N1, H5N7, H7N9. Okay, so the air, you can see, even you can't see it because it's on the outside. What was that line? The air in Britain is. If I turn the video stabilizer on my camcorder, why is it doing it on this? This is a completely separate device. I have several URLs at hand. I'm not gonna put this. If this function don't work, I'll go to the next function. Well, all I was gonna do was demonstrate that this medicine works. This is fucking ridiculous. I don't even know what the link is I have. Hold on. If I have to do that for each one of them, I'm only posting. No, it's gone. Fuck it. At the website. So I am sick as hell. Because I got sickle cell. Are you sick as well? With this. So I'm coming up against something that people don't realize happens. Your body does not completely eliminate viruses. And later on, they can start reproducing again and make you very fucking sick. I have 3 URLs here, and I don't remember which ones are important. No, I got 4. The skill trade shortage in auto repair. People aren't getting their cars repaired. That's why I saved that link. See, very pretty, very pretty, very pretty, very pretty. I wonder if that's 2 buds pressed together. We'll find out in a second. So there are some very interesting numbers coming out in court about how if you already had COVID, you're like huge amounts higher, more likely to die if you get the vaccine. If you already have natural immunity, getting the vaccine could fucking kill you. And apparently the courts agreed with this guy and the science. All right, what do our doctors say? You should get it anyway because logic problem here. Natural immunity is the best immunity you can get. That's what they told us. And the federal health agency people here. You've already had it. They're still telling you to get the vaccine anyway. Patient dies, but the outcome could have been worse. Here we go. That one's right here. I don't know how that one's the very top one. There it is. X, shift, tab, oops. Control V, tab, space bar. I had 2 more. I don't remember what they were. So don't get H7N9 because it'll fucking kill you. I just wonder how many people dehydrated to death because of this fucking virus. This isn't something I caught today or recently. I got this 10 fucking years ago. And it used to come, at first I got sick again every 3 to 6 months. And I thought I was doing okay for a while. I get very minor symptoms maybe once a year. But lately I've been getting really fucking sick. And that has to do with the immunocompromisation of having parvovirus B19. And the nature of the immunocompromisation is such that all those other viruses are going to come back too. Why? I don't have enough fucking blood cells. So this is the first time I see this out. What are the odds? Is anything else?
Way to award a contract. You know, safety is important, technical aspects are important. They do take that into consideration, but the bottom line always comes down to price.
That street sweeper
Okay, so for people listening right now that are trying to get all their ducks in order here for next week, who are the people that are going to be most affected by this shortage? Give us a rundown again.
It'll be the GTA, Hamilton, Peterborough, some parts of Northern Ontario, Sudbury, Kirkland Lake, Timmins, Ottawa is going to be affected heavily. So, you know, what we're saying to people is to check the website where you normally check for a school bus, you know, your school bus, and you will find out there about the shortages and delays.
Is it going to be elementary and high school?
Yes. Right across the board. Yes.
Right across the board, not limited to the GTA, but province-wide. But in the GTA, we're talking about Toronto and Hamilton will mainly be feeling the full effects of this shortage.
Yes, and, you know, the outskirts of the, you know, like Peel, York, Durham, those regions as well are going to definitely be feeling the effects of this.
Well, it's really punctuated. When the TTC announced Monday it'll run more trains and buses starting next week in time for the start of the new school year. Clearly, they're communicating with school boards to determine where the hot spots are, student volumes, and the start and dismissal times to make sure the kids get around.
You're not listening.
But there are a lot of people that their kids can't hop on the TTC. They've got to rely on the busing system that the school board sets out for them.
Absolutely, and that's why we're saying that we have to fix this system. You know, the Band-Aids of, you know, driver retention programs where they award bonuses to drivers, those are great, and we're very thankful for them. Long term,
there's nothing to do with the problem.
These contracts based on price.
Nancy, thanks so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Nancy Gagnon, Executive Director of School Bus Ontario, getting us ready for the first week of school.
No, it sounds simple.
Just,
School Bus Ontario.
Well,
what the fuck
their
is
lunches
that?
are packed. Now you have to make sure that you've got an alternative to get them to school on time. I wonder how this is going to affect your kids' classroom as well. During the 18 months of this pandemic, headlines like this one from 5 days ago have become commonplace. 55 rows affected on 15 flights landing with COVID-19 at Pearson Airport in Mississauga. And I think that's probably why Air Canada is getting tough when it comes to their vaccination policy with the people that work for them. The toughest that we've seen yet.
How could you make it say Irish?
Air Canada will require all employees to disclose their vaccination status by October 30th. Employees that don't have a valid reason for not having their shots, like a medical exemption, going to face consequences.
You're going to face consequences. You hear how she's on top of it.
Leave or actually terminated.
Freudian slips.
Joins the show. She's an employment lawyer and partner with Sam Fewer to Markin LLP. Chantel, thanks for being here. Air Canada talking tough. Do we think, I mean, right now, other airlines are not really following suit to the same degree. How does Air Canada's vaccination policy for their employees differ from other airlines?
So as the first one has really come out and said that they're going to mandate imposing the vaccination upon their employees.
These people already had COVID. These people are the reason you all got COVID.
They're the first out the gate that are doing this. I don't think that they're going to be the last.
So Toronto spreads tuberculosis, hepatitis C, scabies, and bedbugs.
Other sectors, if the government mandates it for those sectors as well.
These people spread COVID.
I think a lot of people, when they hear that, that you could be terminated, they think, well, couldn't you just, we've heard a lot of talk of human rights cases being brought up against a company. Could you bring, is it legal for them to terminate an employee?
So based on federal government's announced intentions, employers in this sector, including Air Canada, are able to terminate their employees who are refusing to be vaccinated.
Everyone's able to terminate an employee. That's not what she asked you. You know it, you fucking idiot. You're a retard.
Or due to religious
you're getting paid to act retarded. It don't mean you're not retarded.
Individuals would be protected under their prohibited grounds. But for other employees, no, they could.
There just isn't a charter
because of the government mandate. For other employers, so for other federal government,
it's a moot point. This company's not going to last.
Other provincially regulated employees, the fact remains that
they went bankrupt
there's no
a year
change in
ago.
law for those employees, and they are not legally able to be fired for refusing to get their COVID vaccination. So for those individuals,
you can't even form the sentence,
bro. Human rights, and they'd be entitled to their.
I couldn't repeat the sentence because you fucked it up.
A lot of companies do have a vaccination policy. However, they also say, if you are not going to get vaccinated for some reason, you can then,
tell us what your religion is. You
have to take a rapid test. Is that?
I have to tell you my race and religion.
Rapid tests?
I have to, because why?
I am shocked, but at the same time,
and you get to decide if it qualifies.
For the individuals who, especially the ones who are operating on the planes, the whole idea is the employer has an obligation to protect its employees from potential safety concerns. And so I understand why they're coming up with that rationale.
You could potentially get HIV, so I'm going to handcuff you to me so you never go near people that you might have sex with. Oh, and when you step on a dirty needle and get HIV anyway, that's your fault.
And I'm also surprised that the union hasn't come out with a statement in this regard either, or nothing that I've seen.
Because it's all going to get wiped out.
Are unionized.
We don't have minimum sentences for drugs or guns.
To the union feels that their support for this,
would have been the same. Oh, you're going to be consequences. That's a real consequence.
Other people they work
guns
with
are bad.
Are also vaccinated.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And I mean, the vaccine is something that it's still
the vaccine. There are dozens of vaccines. Stop calling it the vaccine. In fact, you're going to try to pick which one you give me if I do agree to get it. And you try to guilt trip people that won't take the one that'll kill them.
So they have to protect both the individuals from potentially contracting it from other employees themselves or from the general public.
But you're not going to test them. You've had 5 minutes and you still haven't said they're going to test people.
Apparently,
she asked you how it was different. You didn't tell her how it was different. You told her how it was the same.
I don't know why I can't say that. Mechanism.
You're retarded.
And I'm sure
being paid to be retarded doesn't change that fact.
Aerospace workers.
Look at Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg is one of the richest retarded people in the world. How come the site's broken like that? Because he wants it that way, because that's how his head works.
Makes sense. I understand that position because, like I said, they're not stuck flying in the air with those people.
Goofle's problem is the child touching stuff that they got on their brain all the time.
I mean, there's more abilities for them to be able to protect themselves without having that recirculated air and stuff like that. So I can understand that position, but honestly, because of the mandate from the government, I think that
now that's funny because a year ago you argued we're so safe we don't even have to wear masks.
For just cause in that instance.
I want to thank you for your time. Chantel, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. Thanks very much for joining us.
Remember that a year ago, this same lawyer was arguing,
Chantel Goldsmith.
You have to let us operate. You can't shut us down. And if you shut us down, you have to give us money.
We'll be right back.
Yes, it can make you feel completely alone. But think about this. Right now, you are listening to an ad that is being broadcast to thousands of people.
The worse your debt situation is, the more people are hounding you. You're retarded too.
So know that you're not alone.
We should advertise on that retarded girl's legal advice.
Federally regulated debt relief solutions. We are Bromwich and Smith, a licensed insolvency trustee.
You're not even related. Why are you calling yourselves a family?
Your worth at BromwichAndSmith.com. Do you remember
you just shouldn't have mentioned
you rode your bike? You're doing great, son. The first time you went on a date.
You look so handsome.
Your first 4.
You wouldn't believe what's happening here,
Your
mathematically.
first job. Welcome to the firm, son. Your first drink. Your last drink.
Burn.
If you drink, please don't drive.
No, there's no reason why the laws of physics are fucking just not applying.
We are Toronto's news talk leader. Edward George Bulwer Lytton Fiction Contest does give a certain ignominy to poor writing. 640 Toronto is where the biggest names come to talk.
People have fun making up lousy metaphors. We had a song about the windmills of your mind. You ever stood by a windmill? I hardly ever hear my mind like flap.
John Oakley
Windmills don't make no noise, buddy.
Pardons and Waivers of Canada. Record removal made easy. Weekdays at 3.
Canada, people want to sue over everything.
Lightning, one of nature's most powerful forces. And now, OLG
My
has
hands
taken
are full.
lightning and turned it into a lottery. We call it Lightning Lotto. A $125,000 jackpot keeps growing until it's won. Buy a ticket on the spot, and you could win big on the spot.
On the spot.
Lightning Lotto.
What do you mean it keeps growing?
You don't strike the jackpot, the jackpot strikes you.
So
Wow, that was 3 really bad ads in a row.
Amazing, right? A long way to get here.
Because that whole show was an
The
ad.
2021 Ford Escape has an available hybrid engine with over 900-kilometer range.
No, it doesn't. Because the engine's not a hybrid. The hybrid is the drive between the engine and the motor, which is the transmission.
Ford Escape.
You're fucking retarded too. Wow. How do we sell stuff to retarded people? Let's be retarded. You're not even acting anymore.
For details, contact your Toronto area Ford dealer or visit Ford.ca.
Again, the laws of physics just don't apply here, apparently. Oh, Fucking kidding me. They're fucking locked together. I can't even describe how ridiculous things that happen in my life are.
Welfare announcement, and social media just started mocking him immediately. National Post columnist Sabrina Mado thinks that the policy proposals deserve serious considerations. She joins the show now to talk about it. Welcome. It's good to have you on, Sabrina.
Thanks for having me.
For those that missed or dismissed the announcement as unimportant, can you give us a brief summary of what Aaron O'Toole's platform will contain when it comes to animal welfare?
Yeah, so he released this animal welfare platform on Twitter, and it was initially released in a short 30-second video that contained a lot of cute photos of his dog, Wexford, and some cats. So people didn't take it too seriously, make fun of it, thinking, oh, there's bigger issues. But in that platform,
they're all overcompensating all the time.
Serious policy when it comes to moving the needle on one of our biggest women's issues, which is domestic violence. And what he plans to do is he plans to add the abuse of animals as an aggravating factor when it comes to prosecuting domestic abuse cases, and also provide funding to train judges and prosecutors on them, because we know that often one of the big factors
as an aggregating factor in the lesser offense
is worrying about what will happen.
You'll never get more time that way.
You know, I can understand why,
is wrong with your head?
It was mocked, but I also understand why you choose to do a cute little animal video on social media. Those are the things that people actually are watching. They're things that actually connect with people and get our attention. And funnily enough, a lot of people want to turn their attention away from domestic violence because it's hard to look at. So it's kind of a savvy way to get in.
I think you're absolutely right. What goes viral on social media is cute animals or angry animals, but that's what
remember, these are lab rats telling you how well the experiment is working.
So hopefully he can capture that and then turn the conversation to some of the more serious topics.
She's actually pro this idea. They're both.
In your column,
this is good. This is good.
Stats behind domestic abuse. Can you just get into a few of those?
The same party wants to reopen the abortion debate, and gay marriage has to be prohibited.
The link to animal abuse
when these assholes were empowered.
Can you also talk about just what you learned about the stats when it comes to domestic abuse, especially during the pandemic?
Every 6 days in Canada, a woman is killed by her intimate partner. Domestic violence has only increased during COVID, and it carries a big cost, not just to women, but also children in the economy. In fact, taxpayers spend $7.4 billion every year to deal with this after effects. And the link between
also
abuse and domestic
children in the
abuse,
economy, two things I own and have rights to.
Studies on it. And they
the law in Canada, your kids are your property.
5 times more likely to harm humans, and that 89%
and none of these women will ever admit
abusive relationship reported their animals were threatened, harmed, or killed by that same partner.
Yeah,
threaded.
We know that people don't leave relationships.
The end of the spool of thread. The thread
because of their kids. They're frightened for their kids, or they're frightened.
Hey, your retardation has got my health picking up.
That the repercussions would be horrible, and the kids would be left with the husband, possibly if anything happens to them, or the abuser, whoever that happens to be. I can't imagine having to leave the dog, because if you think about
why would you leave the dog?
How we've structured our family
why
units,
would you leave the dog?
A lot of the times the
because the white guy at the shelter told me I had to.
It's not
you
like
make no sense.
Back in the 70s,
you make
when
no
people left
sense.
their
You're so
dog
mentally
at the
ill. I'm
backyard, chained
surprised
up
you were
all
able
day
to
in
have
the dog
kids.
house.
I would assume you had stolen those kids.
Now. They are part of our family, and I can't imagine if I was in a relationship that was abusive, even thinking of leaving without the dog.
Neither can I. I have 2 cats myself, and I can't imagine being put in that situation. And they did do a study.
Because you would have to have kids and a husband and be getting abused by it.
Had delayed leaving an abusive relationship because
if I say the word, they're going to make this
even more disturbing, 1/3 of women who's left their pet behind were actually considering returning to abusive homes just to go back to the pets and make sure they were okay.
No. That's an excuse thing. I had to go visit. You think they're moving back in?
Conservatives.
They're telling you they're going to go check on the pet.
Right?
Why?
Fleeing,
take it with you when you leave, stupid. Why are you going?
There are
and then they end up moving back in. Right. They're not sitting here thinking, I should move back in and check on the dog. It's not the dog they give a fuck about.
Shelters accommodate for pets.
I don't give a fuck about the dog.
It comes back to the funding. The start and the end of it, they just don't receive the funding. So if we have a government who's
the start and the end of it, that's a wonderful argument. The start and the end of it.
Probably the easiest answer.
All right.
Wow.
Well, I want to thank you very much for joining us on the show, because I know that this was a headline that a lot of people skipped over, but I think it does raise some important issues. We have to keep
these bitches are not going to get O'Toole elected.
Especially domestic violence that has increased during the pandemic, and there are a lot of people listening right now. They're in that position that I'm sure that this legislation would really help.
I was so sick 10 minutes ago.
Thank you very much. Sabrina Mado is a National Post columnist. If you want to read her column, it is up right now online at thenationalpost.ca.
Hey, you know, your CEO is not a citizen of a prison gang. I've seen the photos. Yeah, it's one of those minimum security type prisons, but I don't know you're going to run into in there. I can't believe they got me this much against this idea. That is dumb. If the sentence for hurting the dog is longer than the sentence for hurting your wife, whatever, you're going to use the... Oh, he did this to the dog. Charge him for hitting the dog then, stupid. No. We'll use the aggravating factor against the lesser offense. Welcome to Canada, where you have women pretending to fight for abused women. They're not. They're purposely doing this so nothing changes. These two women just spent all that time on the air. This is propaganda, because this is all government and corporate paid for. They ain't straight up advertising. It's propaganda. All you want to do is... I don't. What am I doing? I'm going to find nothing but garbage all day because of what day the fucking Simcoe Day or something. Is it Labor Day? Yeah, it is. It was Simcoe Day last week, wasn't it? And remember, that charge of abusing the animal can be invoked first, before he hits the girl. You let him hit the dog, not charge him for that, even though it's a worse sentence, easier to convict too. And wait till he escalates to hitting her, and then, oh, by the way, he hit the dog too. And we didn't feel like charging him for that, even though he'd get more time. We were hoping you'd give him less time later for hitting her. And we saw it coming too, yes, Your Honor. This is what they're telling you. Complete fucking waste of time. Fucking bad. People are clowns. People are clowns. No, because you really believe you can manipulate the public just because you're on radio. The government told you you had to follow rules because you can manipulate the public with this. And you were like, oh, we can manipulate the public? And that's why the government don't enforce much of the rules. Except against, let's see, frogs, spics, niggers, common fucks, and redskins.
I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so whoop. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so whoop. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so whoop. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so whoop.
He's pledging to build 500,000 units of social housing.
Are preparing for return to the classroom following a year of pandemic-disrupted learning. Plus, a rundown of what's open
500,000 units.
Labor Day Monday.
Union leaders rallying downtown this morning to mark Labor Day, marching from City Hall to Queen's Park.
Instead of walking with workers in parades this Labor Day because
Unions
of the pandemic,
take money
the three main
from,
party leaders
right.
are in Ontario. We'll tell you the details in a moment.
Not the depth of celebrities we are used to, but some big names are coming to Toronto next week for TIFF.
So here's the next thing. I got to ignore the news for the next 2 weeks.
So we'll have a preview and Bianca Andreescu in action tonight at the U.S. Open. Sports 45.
You don't need a traffic report.
Amazon's Career Day takes place on September 15th, with almost 2,000 job openings right here in Canada.
Advertisement. You're not supposed to be covering that for free, so we know you're not.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Camille Wilson.
And this report is brought to you by BDO Debt Solutions. So looking at just some volume delays that are building up on our major routes on the westbound 401 west of here, Ontario, and then again approaching the 407 to west of Trafalgar. Then again.
Years ago, I'm laughing because this comes to a meeting I had with the U.S. CIA guy in Cambridge, Massachusetts, whose name is Chuck Cogan.
Sure you do.
Chuck Cogan was the director of Operation Cyclone. So,
fucking hell, man.
Un volte-face qui n'en est pas tout à fait un, et qui revient à une vulnérabilité.
Well, so much for that. Please, fucking sniff into the microphone as many times as you can. You realize the mic is supposed to be out of the way of you breathing. You know that, right? I don't know how you people working in whether it's recording or broadcast arts and don't understand that. I'm going to blow my words into the mic. I see you on your phones, cell phones, whatever type of phone. You always put it right up in front of your mouth. The microphone doesn't pick up you blowing air on it. I mean, it does. It doesn't think that's. Why are you trying to normalize this shit?
I'm dealing with my boys and now your head is so woke. I'm just dealing with my boys and now your head.
In those audio recordings where you hear a person cough in the background, and it's very rare, you have to remember everybody in that venue was smoking, and there was no ventilation. There were no fire codes. And you don't hear people making as much noise as with these people today. No, I'll tell you how healthy they are because they don't smoke and they eat tofu or whatever, kale or some shit.
It's so
The notable exception to that is the Halton School Board, which does have students returning tomorrow. Now, regardless of their official first day back, Ontario school boards say much of the students' time will be spent assessing individual needs following months of remote learning. Teachers say they'll be evaluating retention on subjects that include literacy and math, as well as the need for mental health support. Well, the
You're not qualified to do either of those things.
For the possibility of more closures, Ontario's
remember, these people said we're co-parents to the children. This is their legal argument that they're co-parents to the children.
Secondary institutions are putting vaccine policies
and
in
remember
place.
The teachers' pension plan.
To campus this week. 680's
The things that they own.
Coming into effect tomorrow, Queen's University is requiring
you pay these people 24/7. You're handing them money.
Doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. George Brown College
and
is
they
also
scream at your
implementing
kids that they don't
September
exist.
7th. It's requiring staff and students to get the jab or
multicultural. 18 different types of white people.
48 hours before going to
white's
campus.
Not a thing,
there
right?
is an option
you prove
for
that
those
in
who
this
need
country.
it to take the rapid test at the school. Among the list of colleges and
You got
universities,
4 different breeds just coming out of fucking
Humber,
UK.
Wilfrid Laurier, Conestoga College, and the University of Guelph.
The province is also lifting capacity limits for classes while allowing for physical distancing, but that's facing criticism from the Ontario Confederation of University Faculty Associations. The group that represents faculty unions says
80% of the schools do not have mechanical ventilation.
Classroom puts students and instructors at a higher risk of COVID-19.
Remember, last year they said we're going to give extra money to these people, and a year later, none of them had received it yet.
680 News Time,
They said months ago they're going to put.
Labor leaders gathered in Nathan Phillips Square this morning to mark.
They were going to put HEPA filters into all the classrooms that don't have mechanical ventilation. Doesn't mean they've done it yet.
Mixed communities. And I asked the question, why isn't this happening in the Canadian context? This is exactly what we need to be driving great housing in great neighborhoods that is affordable. You know, the old model is kind of putting affordable housing on in the outskirts. And the new model, which we are seeking to demonstrate in this project, is that the best sites in the city should have affordable housing. Our essential workers and key workers, our young people should have access to housing in walkable neighborhoods, near parks, near schools, near transit. And so that's kind of the foundation of our model. We work with not-for-profit organizations, but we also, and this is an example of that, we also work with private landowners.
Most of you are not necessary.
Embracing this kind of a model.
Grocery store stock boys. You're worthless. You do the same job 6 times in a row. You're worthless.
Using
all the people that work at Tim Hortons,
to subsidize
and you're filthy.
Regulated
and
affordable apartments. You've got one that will be, you've got a public space involved in the plan. You also have a large tower involved in the plan, and you'll keep the facade of the isolated row houses. What I'm most interested in is that you have to, first of all, get subsidy, and you also have to jump through the hoops through the city's planning process. Do you think that your past position within the city will help you get the green light for this? Because it has to happen relatively quickly.
Well, I think that I do obviously have some advantages.
See how nervous she
just got.
I know a lot
of people, and I really understand the processes because I used to, of course, run the planning approval process at the City of Toronto as the chief planner. So that is for sure an advantage to the process. But I think the biggest advantage of this application is that it represents good planning and it is consistent with the city's broader objectives, including the city's aggressive affordable housing targets, which the city isn't currently meeting. So the city sort of needs partners, organizations like us that are going to assist.
So again, we're going to build all this shit. 30 years in, they haven't built shit.
So I think, it's good planning.
No, they're taking over the private